Throughout history, the most dangerous ideas were not those that incited wars or toppled empires, but those that asked a simple question: why? This is the story of a woman who refused to stop asking that question. A scholar, a scientist, a philosopher, who lived and died in the cradle of ancient knowledge. Her name was Hypatia. And her life marks both the zenith and the downfall of a world where reason once ruled. Born around 360 AD in Alexandria, Hypatia grew up in a city unlike any other, where Egyptian, Greek, Roman, Jewish, and early Christian cultures collided like tectonic plates of thought. Her father, Theon of Alexandria, was one of the last mathematicians and astronomers of the Great Library. But he did more than teach his daughter numbers and stars, he taught her how to think. Hypatia surpassed him. She became the head of the Neoplatonic school, a philosophical tradition rooted in the teachings of Plato, but evolved through centuries of metaphysical thought. She lectured publicly on ethics, mathematics, astronomy, and the nature of the divine. And yes, her students were men. Men from across the empire, from different religions, came not to argue, but to listen. But why does she matter? Because Hypatia didn't just transmit knowledge, she transformed it. In mathematics, she edited and expanded works on Diophantine equations and conic sections, shapes like the ellipse, parabola, and hyperbola, that today form the backbone of physics and astronomy. She improved the design of the astrolabe, a sophisticated tool for navigation and stargazing, and possibly developed hydrometers and other scientific instruments. In philosophy, she argued that reason must govern the soul, just as harmony governs the cosmos. She taught that wisdom wasn't a destination, but a discipline. And in a time when women were property, and scholars were fading into myth, Hypatia became a beacon. Not of rebellion, but of excellence. To understand Hypatia, you must understand Alexandria. It was not merely a city. It was an idea made stone, a dream of what civilization could become. Founded by Alexander the Great, it housed the Great Library, one of the most ambitious projects in human history. Over 400,000 scrolls filled its halls. Philosophy, engineering, poetry, medicine, entire lifetimes of knowledge inked onto parchment. The city was also home to the museum, not a gallery, but a university. A gathering place for thinkers, inventors, and skeptics. Hypatia stood at the heart of this ecosystem, teaching in the open, drawing diagrams in the sand, conversing with governors, priests, and generals. Her classroom? The colonnaded walkways of Alexandria. Her curriculum? Everything. But the flame of reason rarely burns forever. As the Roman Empire decayed, so did tolerance. Religious factions gained power, many driven not by faith, but by fear. Hypatia, unmarried, intellectual, outspoken, and beloved, became a symbol. To some, she was a philosopher. To others, a heretic. In 415 AD, a mob, incited by political and religious leaders, intercepted her carriage. They dragged her from the streets, into a church, where she was stripped, flayed with tiles, and her body burned. Why? Because a woman dared to teach men. Because logic dared to question authority. Because power, unchecked, always fears the question, why? They tried to silence her. They failed. Her works may be lost, but her legend endured. The Enlightenment thinkers rediscovered her name. Feminist scholars reclaimed her voice. Scientists celebrated her vision. Today, Hypatia represents more than just ancient brilliance, she represents resistance. Resistance to ignorance. Resistance to fanaticism. Resistance to the erasure of truth. Her life asks us, will we let knowledge be a flame, or a memory? Hypatia's story reminds us that truth is often fragile, and those who carry it must sometimes walk alone. But her legacy teaches us something greater, that the pursuit of knowledge, no matter the cost, is the purest form of rebellion. So who was she? A philosopher? A scientist? A martyr? She was all that, and more.